Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. The blackest heart, the blackest mind, the blackest man on social media is signing black and shining again, asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. And this message is very pessimistic, so let me tell you that right off the bat. This is a pessimistic message. I'm going to start by telling you three predictions that have been made. I made one, Uncle D made the second, General Tito made the third, and in that order, chronologically speaking. By last September or October, I made this prediction that a specific psychological profile of men were going to target younger men who were red pill aware and who weren't doing well with the ladies. I said this, and some guys actually came underneath and they said, yeah, actually, this is what's true. This is true, and this is going to happen. And especially so if a black man is young and he's light skinned or exotic looking, and he's not doing well with the ladies, they're really going to zero in on him. Then Uncle D more recently made a prediction. Attorney Dennis Sperling, also Uncle D, made a prediction that what's going to happen is that these young teenage guys are going to start carjacking a lot in the next few years, and it's going to go up. Because they ain't going to sit up here and watch these women on OnlyFans make all this money, and they can't make none in an economy like this. Okay, now it gets worse. General Tito made a prediction that the next gender war is actually going to be between women, between the feminist and the feminine. All right? There's more. Pay attention. When I made the prediction, some men said to me, this has already started. Some of the comments they said showed that this had already begun. However, what I was predicting was a rise in this because somebody was going to try to get red pill awareness to be confused with LGBT and all them alphabets. They were going to try to confuse it to the point that even men would not know the difference, so that if a man becomes red pill aware, they would say, oh, this is why they're dudes digging each other out. And they would think that that's the natural progression. Therefore, they would make that progression. That was the goal of this. Okay. Then Uncle D made his prediction. Then General Tito made his prediction. Now, Uncle D's prediction turned out to be true in a news article that came out just a few weeks after he made the prediction. He was predicting it for years ahead of time. It turned out to be the case within a few weeks. Law enforcement noticed a pattern, and someone told the media that a lot of these, the average age of carjackers now was 15. Now, that's the average. Okay? Turned out to be true within weeks. General Tito made a prediction that the next gender war is going to be between feminist and feminine women. Well, that's true, but the pattern already got started. So when Uncle D made his prediction, the pattern had already begun. We were just unaware. General Tito made his prediction. I'm aware that the pattern started. I'm not sure how aware he was, but it's already begun. Already Shira Seven wrongly doxed Soraya Stewart in the UK. We know that. She never issued an apology that we're aware of, but she doxed the wrong one. Now, this is what makes it bad. My prediction was, as I told you, a specific psychological profile of men. They would be men. They would not only be interested in men, but they would be specifically interested in hetero men. And then they would be of the type that are unscrupulous enough to try to convince the younger ones to let them be their first men. So that's a pretty narrow psychological profile. Guess what? Nope. Regular run-of-the-mill sisters and even conscious sisters are leading this charge. It ain't even the dudes. Even the ones that are part of the alphabet community, but they're not really interested in other guys that are already alphabet. They're interested in hetero men, and they want to try to be that guy's first guy. And no, even they're not doing this and leading this charge. I saw within a 5-day span 2 sisters post, one in Facebook, the other one on YouTube. One posted underneath 82 Kings, or rather MACK's Facebook post. She put a comment. Ooh, child, why don't y'all just go pick other men? She said that. Now, mind you, she's supposedly a conscious sister. I mean, she's got four names, and each one is from like one different sector of the black conscious community. She's got an Orthodox Sunni name. She has an NOI name, an ancient Kemetic name, and then another Nigerian but commonly accepted African American name too, which is Sade. So she's like just a hodgepodge, a potluck of no-tip names. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, why didn't she just name herself Ooga Booga Ungawa or something? Something out of a Tarzan movie. Because this gets ridiculous. So, in any case, she said this on Facebook, and then we already saw, you can see MTR's post about a woman saying that she and her husband know this otherwise great kid who's got into red pill stuff. Why don't they just go and choose each other? See, they're trying to lead this push. Gentlemen, what does that mean? First off, it tells you the war's already worse than what we can predict. We make predictions and they're already coming true before we're aware of it. Secondly, they're coming out worse. Thirdly, what I saw just now shows that you've got these, mark my words, you got these sisters out here who would rather tell their own sons to go after men's behinds, disabling them from ever conceiving grandchildren for them, than to pull the wool off of the games that ladies play and be honest about it and prepare their sons, let alone nephews and grandsons. I kid you not. If you know what these games are, they would rather you go with another dude, even though that's not your preference to begin with. This shows you the hatred they have for the truth, and this shows you that the absolute worst thing in their minds is a hetero man knowing what the games are and finding heterosexual relief in the thighs of a woman without being subjected to her games. Heterosexual relief on a man's terms. And that's one thing they will never tolerate, because our terms are simple. Okay, recreational sex, marriage or not, recreational sex that's not expensive. Whether it's in a marriage or whether it's outside of a marriage, which I'm not going to recommend for you. And I hope you get to a point where you would prefer a young marriage than to fornicate. But that's a different topic for a different day. The point is, our terms are simple. We don't mind pleasing them, but what we don't want is all of these expenses on the back end. Unplanned pregnancies, because you did your part to avoid it. And of course, all the rest of it. False accusations or child support or whatever else the case is. They're not playing games. Their goal is to make it as expensive as possible. That's their goal. So consequently, I want you to understand that sounds like a war to me. They would rather eliminate even their own male relatives from this. They're not even just eliminating their own male relatives from reproduction if they can do it, which that's part of what they're doing. They want to eliminate their own male relatives from just satisfying hetero encounters that don't involve a whole lot on the back end. So since you know what the games are, they're like, okay, well, we just gonna, you know what? No, you need to just go ahead and choose other dudes. And they want to tell these cats this while they're young. That's what that's about. Now, granted, guys who play games on them, they'll tolerate that. They'll tolerate it. But these are guys on whom they feel, okay, I can't play the games. These are the guys they already picked anyway. So when I tell you that these women out here trying to eliminate from hetero sex and reproduction, they're trying to eliminate from all of that. It's 85 to 93%. They're trying to eliminate, at least in the West. They are including their own male relatives in this. And then secondly, it's not going to stop when they've eliminated the traits they don't want in men. That's not the case. That's not going to stop. What's going to wind up happening is that no matter how many generations go by, they're going to keep on doing that until something forces them to quit. Or until the genetic bottleneck turns around and ruins humanity anyway. And this is why I'm now beginning to believe that they should not pick men. Well, I shouldn't say now beginning, but I'm now beginning to openly advocate that they should not choose men on their own, but they should choose men along with their fathers or brothers or grandfathers. Yes, women should choose. They should also have that choice subject to the approval of a father, grandfather, or brother, a male relative. Now, that's where the challenge to us men comes in. If you are that guardian, so to speak, for your female relative, are you also going to be honest with the man that's coming and saying, I'm here to talk about marriage with her, and say to him, okay, you know what? You qualify for her. What I found is she doesn't qualify for you. Are you going to say this to these men? Now, that's where we men are accountable. And a lot of us aren't ready for this yet, but you can get yourself ready before that time comes. That's another talk for another day, but that is going to be part of the solution. What I'm going to say to you is that their elimination is far more vicious than what we thought. And one of the major sins of the Wicked Witch of the West anyway is that lax attitude they have towards the alphabet lifestyle. To the point that they even think it's funny to take males who aren't into that and steer them towards that. That's funny to them. That's how much they hate you. That's how much they hate male heterosexuality. Especially when you reach an awareness that will allow you to not have to pay a fortune you don't have in exchange for heterosexual fulfillment. That is their worst nightmare, and I've come to understand that. Their worst nightmare is not necessarily something that is bad for them. It's just simply something that's good and convenient for you. That bothers them. Thanks for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum, Black heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and Black patriarchy until extinction of Judgment Day.